But I was wondering, because you found so much success as an architect, what makes you stay in the valley? I mean, you could be living in like any place in the world. Why do you stay in the valley? What, you know?
It's home. I've had an optimism about Phoenix since I came here, and it wasn't just about the climate, but as I grew up in the Midwest, good city to be from, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have the sort of that ethos about me. I'm more dramatic than I care to admit. Occasionally, probably a little too self-righteous at times about what is right and what is wrong, and that it's about values, but it's also sometimes about I'm an only child. But as I was looking around, and like you say, I could have gone anywhere. I could have chosen that place.
Right.
And whereas, it's the 60s, there's places set in their ways, and based on spending time here in a city in 1967 and 68, when it was a third,
It's okay.
a third or a quarter of the population, what was this about? It was a place of reasonable climate that is by and large forgiving, although it's harsher than some people would make it out to be. And it's a place with a defined horizon that you can see, and that's the mountains that ring the valley. It's a place that has attracted people that are opportunistic at one level, and they're open-minded enough to really move into a transformative, unnatural environment to their grounding from the Midwest or the East or wherever they've come from. It's almost surreal. But they look at the flora, they look at the fauna, they deal with the climate, they enjoy the sunlight. They are willing by their choice to set down stakes here and try to find their success and freedom and make a good place and a good community. They've been clients from the beginning, from the earliest stages when Lord Dupa came here and lived in basically a mud adobe house in downtown Phoenix and named both Phoenix and Tempe, to the fact that you had the first sort of attempts at architectural style and quality, to the wonderful coincidence of Frank Lloyd Wright coming to this valley as a mature man, with first his involvement with one of his earlier students, MacArthur, at the Arizona Biltmore Hotel to create that. His choice of this as his camp, so he had the energy of that. It was his school that was generating, again, an optimism of young people, whether it was Blaine Drake, whether it was Alden Dow, whether it was Paulo Solari, John Lautner. This was a place of that opportunity, and it was a place perfectly positioned at the end of World War II with the case study program of Arts and Architecture magazine in California. We were building on that optimism. We could do everything. We were coming back from a very tough time between depression and war, and the city was blossoming on that growth. And what I continued to sort of be optimistic for was those clients became my clients, those people that were willing to look for a different point of view, were willing to trust a guy without an architectural degree that was good with his hands and liked to build and make things and was interested in really listening to them. It was a great place for that to happen, and here I can come with that background and some success, and Central Library was job number 317. So there'd been a few before that, okay? I had just come away from a Rome Prize where I was given the privilege of an advanced design fellowship, which I applied for and was selected, and I lived in Rome for 6 months.
Wow.
And I got to think about who I was and who I wanted to be when I grew up. I was 40 years old. And 2 years later, I saw the library as the opportunity to, test and mature some things. And there's this pre-Rome period and this post-Rome period. And it's about learning who you are and growing up with it. And once you've committed this much to a place, you're sort of known, both good and bad. But I hopefully am known as a person that's always wants to be part of the civic conversation of making a better place. And so I keep, in everything I do here, wanting to, there's still the opportunity to make the difference. I'm still looking for creating those neighborhoods we have been talking about earlier in our conversation, and those places where, again, it is the city we're dreaming of, because that's going to evolve. It's happening. I think that the struggles we've been through, and whether it's $5 a gallon gas, which probably should be $8 or $10 a gallon gas. You talk about something you could do better for the valley. We should just make gasoline $8 a gallon. That would get us into a whole nother sensibility of how we need to live in this place. That wouldn't be a bad thing. That would really be the sort of constriction we need, and we see it happen every time the gas pump changes. Okay,
Right, right.
so those things are happening, but it's home, and it's there's friendships, there's trust, there's a vision, there's an understanding of the place, and so many things I still want to do here that I haven't done here. And right now we're seeing with the sort of blossoming of downtown and the neighborhoods, chances of, I want to work in that patchwork. I want to build buildings that make a difference in that patchwork, that connect, that are background as well as foreground, that just add to the spirit and the character of the place.